Welcome to this exciting edition of the Golden Rule. The Golden Rule is essentially treat other people the way you want them to treat you. That was given to us by a man named Jesus. Not just a man, God-man. And he knows what he's talking about. So we're trying on this program to bring you some good news about how you can make a difference in your community. Detroit Lakes is in the process of becoming a beacon of righteousness, and it's happening one person at a time, one scenario at a time. You know, Jesus said, "Go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature." But I was recently reminded that we don't have to go to the world. God is bringing the world to Detroit Lakes because we have people here from all parts of the globe.
We do. Coming
to this city for whatever reason, and we need to take an interest in them. Picture yourself. You're in a strange country, you don't know anybody, and wouldn't you appreciate it if somebody just took an interest in you, invited you to your home or something? Yeah, well, today my guest is Debbie Janzen. Debbie, thank you for coming. We've known each other for...
Ever.
Do you recall?
I don't even remember when we met, Barry.
No, I don't. I can't either. It was too long ago. But I'm glad we did.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, let's start with this. Yard signs. I don't know what that was the first time we met or not.
No, we met long before then.
Long before that, okay. Right. But anyway, for those of you who don't know, here on Westlake Drive, we have every year for the past 4 or 5 years anyway, put up the Lord's Prayer sequentially, like they used to have with the Burma shave. I don't know if you remember the Burma shave, little rim, what do you call them, riddles? Not riddles, some kind of a word anyway. But every so often they'd have another couple of line limericks. And so we did that with the Lord's Prayer. We had it in 10 sections. And one day Debbie was coming by and she saw them. Now, I don't remember which came first, the cart or the horse, but can you recall?
I just remember driving to work one day and I started to see the Lord's Prayer all along the way. And I thought, oh my goodness, that is so cool. I just love seeing something Christ-centered in our community, and I read it every day to work. And I just thought, whoever did that, I want to thank them. So I went home and baked dozens of chocolate chip cookies, put them in each baggie, and said, you know, thanks for the sweet day brightener of sharing God's word. I get to read it every day on my way to work. And so I went to each of the houses here along Westlake Drive and left, if they weren't home, I left it right by their door. Otherwise, just knocked on their door and said, thank you for putting up that sign because it blesses me. And I just wanted to sweeten their day as a result. And just say thank you. I think too often we let opportunity go by to say thank you to people. So I try to look for those ways to say thanks for the little things. I had no idea you instigated that or started it out.
And that's why it was so funny. Then I started getting called from neighbors. It's like, who's this lady that's bringing us cookies? I said, I don't know. So you're the culprit.
I guess so.
Well, that was great. And your ministry to them made just as much of an impact on them as they're posting the signs made on you. So we talked about this earlier. It's more blessed to give than to receive. And every time we give of ourselves in some way, we're setting up double blessings all the way around.
Yeah.
But I want you to share a little bit about you. Well, you know what I want you to share about. Just go ahead, talk about your ministry to the people of other countries and
Barry,
how it all got started.
Yeah, you talked about imagine how you would feel if you were in a foreign country and you didn't know anybody, and what that would mean to you to have somebody invite you to their home. Well, add to that, being in a foreign country where you've never experienced the frigid Minnesota cold, and you're kind of going to work, coming home, trying not to freeze in between, walking. So one day my husband and I were on our way to church and we saw a young man walking with just a fairly light jacket and his nice church shoes on, and he was cold. And he had walked from Rossman Elementary all the way up to the Adventist Church
Whoa.
on Richwood Road. So, and he had gone the Friday night before walking up there just to make sure he could find the church.
Oh.
So we saw him, invited him after church to join us for a fellowship meal, and asked him, what have you got planned this afternoon after church? And he said, well, nothing really. And we said, well, you're not walking home, I'll tell you that. So we gave him a ride in our car. We were going to bring him back to his apartment that he was renting. And since he said he had nothing going on, we invited him to our home. And he spent that whole afternoon and evening at our home with us. We learned he was from Uganda, and he was just one of about 25 other people that were here from other countries.
Oh.
And as a result, we got to be friends with many other of these people. One of which we saw walking from over by the high school over to a place where they were working on Willow Avenue in an agricultural type setting, flowers and things. And he just had a sweatshirt on. And we saw him walking to work, and we said, why are you walking without a coat? And he said, this is what I brought for warmth, because they said it was going to be cold here. Well, he was from Uganda also, and cold, they can't even imagine what cold is. So we picked him up, brought him to work. That night we met quite a few of the people there, and thought, my goodness, we need to. I know some of the people that come and work here are financially okay, and others it's a real struggle. It's a hardship. So we talked with my community Bible study women's group, and I also talked with my church members, and they all got right on board. And we said, let's get some funds together and offer to take these guys out and get some good warm winter clothing.
Oh, bless your heart.
Yeah. So that's what we did. We picked them up after their work day, and we took them and went shopping. Got boots, coats, scarves, hats, mittens, and it was really, really great. They appreciated it.
Let me interject something.
Sure.
Here. I remember speaking to one of them. We were driving by out here, and I said, that's a lake. I said, what?
They had no idea.
No idea. And there were cars driving out there and fish houses and everything. Yeah. They thought it was a big open field.
Yeah.
And then when I saw him a few months later and the ice had all melted, wow, that's really, how does that happen?
Yeah, yeah. And we took a group of them out on the pontoon after the ice melted, and they were just incredulous that this was actually water frozen. They thought it was a field.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that pontoon ride too, because that was really fun. Do you remember how that...
Well, I want to backpedal a little bit, if we can, before we go to that.
Yep.
Because when we took them out shopping for gloves and such, we were one of the places we went to was L&M Fleet Supply. And the store manager there, we talked with him a little bit, got to know him when we were buying gloves. And he and his brother do an outreach ministry through Park Rapids also, called Walking on Water Outdoors. So we got together with them, and we were able to take, I'm going to say about 15 people out ice fishing, and with their ministry. So we had a great time. We took them snowmobiling and four-wheeling and ice fishing. And that was as a result of just going over there to buy them gloves and learn, and then talking with the store manager at that time about what they like to do for people. So we got to take them out on the lake and have some really good Minnesota nice frigid winter fun. Yeah. So
on to the pontoon story. How did that come about? Do you remember?
Well, we had talked. They wanted to go out on the lake when it wasn't frozen, and you had a pontoon, so you offered to go on out on the water, and we spent the late afternoon and evening just going around Detroit Lake and having a campfire, and it was great. And they all got to drive, so that was fun too. And then we also we kind of gave our outreach a name, because we kept getting. I was trying to coordinate so many events with so many people. So we just started a group and called it the COOL Group, the Community Cultural Outreach of the Lakes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
The cool, isn't that cool? Yeah. So we, that's what we called ourselves, and people kept joining the group. We had in total about 100 over the last 4 years that we've been doing this, reaching out to people in our community from other countries. There's about 100 people that we've connected with. So we also we wanted to do things to give them the flavor of Minnesota nice, if you will.
Sure, sure.
So we took them to Itasca State Park. We went walking on water outdoors, ice fishing. We took them to Tamarack. We went, did another day trip up to Itasca State Park and crossed the Mississippi River. My dad has a speedboat, and a friend of ours had a speedboat. So we took them out on Rock Lake. We went skiing and water tubing. Every year, it's kind of an annual event. Once or twice a year, we've taken them out to Detroit Mountain and gone snow tubing.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's just a lot of fun things to do in Detroit Lakes, and we like to share that with them because they don't always have that opportunity otherwise.
I was going to say, is it possible that if you had not done this, that they never would have had any such experience?
Well, especially the group in 2019, like there was no transportation. They were, go to work, come home. They told me they feel like the world opened up because we were able to connect. And we don't just try, my husband and I, to do this. We try to connect them with other people as well, so that there's plenty of friendships and relationships formed. When they leave the United States, I'd like them to know that there's a lot of Americans that really care and are fun-loving people, and also people that love Jesus here. Our motivation in all of this was we wanted to share Jesus' love with them.
I want to interject something here for just a moment. The golden rule, right? Treat others the way you want them to be treated. I have a pontoon. I'm a widower. I'm here all alone. You don't have to cry. I'm not crying. I'm just saying. I have a hard time taking myself for a ride in a pontoon. I could do it.
Okay.
And quote, enjoy it, but it's a whole lot more fun when you take somebody else with you. I've got a neighbor who put his pontoon in the spring, parked it at the dock, and in the fall, he took it out. Never once even used it.
Oh, that's a shame.
That is a sin.
That's a shame, yeah.
Forgive me. You may not see it that way, but I'm saying...
Well, we're enlisting you this summer then, because there's a group that we have of friends here from other countries right now, and we would love to get them out on the lake this summer.
I'm in, and I'm saying to all pontoon owners, widows, people who don't live on the lake, don't have the... I mean, there's all kinds of opportunities. And then you build friendships that way, too. Get to know somebody at the same time. So...
you know what else we did, too, with those people over the last 4 years is I do a lot of animal rescue, and I work with the Marshmallow Foundation in town and live trap cats that have been stuck out in 35 below weather and are hungry, and so some of the friends that I have made from these other countries, I got them involved also in caring for the animals, fosters that I had in my home. Some of them donated some money to help raise funds for food and things like that. So not only were we trying to reach out to them, but some of them were giving back to our community as well through the animal rescue, and I really appreciated that too.
I can't believe how fast this time goes by. You know, we could talk for hours, but we're not going to because we're out of time, and we want you to come back next time. But just a reminder, again, that this program on Channel 3 airs in a 4-hour time block. So if you're watching at 8 o'clock, you can see it again at 12, at 4, at 8, at 12, at 4, at 8. 42 times in 1 week you can see this same program. So if you've heard something here that reminds you of somebody else that should have been watching, tell them about it. And if it's not the tail end of the week, they can watch it too. Or if they don't have Channel 3 access, they can also go to the website, which is, do you remember?
lakestv.com
lakestv.com. It'll probably even be on your screen.
Yeah, you can go to their YouTube channel and watch it.
Yeah. So anyways, all kinds of ways. But thank you for tuning in today. Some of you may have tuned in accidentally, but it's not an accident. God wanted you to hear this information. So until next week, or until we see you again, God bless you and thanks again.